The 2021 Premier League season is brought to you by OddsChecker, your one-stop betting hub. Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm NiniFC. This is Blue Lions TV, and today's News Daily video is brought to you by OddsChecker. Now, of course, a big shout and thank you to OddsChecker for sponsoring the countdown to the start of the new Premier League season. Our first game is next Monday against Brighton, so you guys make sure you stay tuned for that day. And right now, OddsChecker have placed us at 8-1 to be on top of the table by the time Christmas comes. So I do think that realistically, it's not looking too impossible. Right now, we've made some unbelievable signings this window. We are continuing to make signings too. A lot of these new signings have already been at this club, training with their new teammates. So I do feel like everything is starting to come together quite beautifully. If you're someone that likes to place bets, then OddsChecker is the perfect app for you. It basically is a hub that has all the leading bookies in one place. You get exclusive offers, odds, etc, etc. If you're a betting man, try it out for yourselves. You'll find in the link below in the description. Download the app, and of course, remember, you have to be 18 plus to download the app. Now, we start with our first story for today, and that's the breaking news that Christian Pulisic is going to be our new number 10 for next season. Congratulations to Christian. He's had an unbelievable first debut season for our club. He's really impressed a lot of people. He's proved a ton of doubters wrong, and it's looking like Pulisic will be taking over the mantle left by Eden Hazard himself, which is honestly just saying so much in regards to Pulisic and how well he has developed as the season has progressed. Willian hands down the number 10 shirt to Pulisic instead of Hudson-Odoi. Now, you know, firstly, I do feel that maybe Christian does deserve it. His season, his progress, his development, he really blossomed, and in the end, he really became a key part of the team and definitely a key player for us. Now, I'm someone that likes to keep things absolutely real. Christian's proved a lot of doubters wrong, including myself. Now, of course, back when we first signed him, I was a bit skeptical during that period, you know. It was around the time where we never realised if Hazard was going to go to Real Madrid or stay with us, and you know, in that period too, Hudson-Odoi in his contract situation was in a very precarious situation. So I was just thinking, is Pulisic the right signing to make in such a delicate scenario? You know, I was a bit skeptical, had my reservations, but at the same time, I'm someone that doesn't have an ego. I don't just live and die by my opinions. I'm happy to be proven wrong, and I like to have an open mind. What immediately started to catch my eye with Pulisic was just how incredible his first touch was. The way he just glides with the ball too, his body balance, his control, and yeah, he has all these top class elements that you think, wow, there really is a player here. And of course, he had some of his little small issues to get over throughout the season. For me, sometimes his hold-up play and his defensive work rate wasn't at the right level during the start of the season, but the way he developed and progressed once the second part came, and you know, especially during the quarantine period too, Pulisic was really on fire. He became a key part of the team, banged in the goals, and honestly, well done to him. Honestly, well done to him. He's a special player, and he deserves that number 10 shirt thoroughly. Now, last night, Mitch scored 2 goals in a 5-1 win against Iceland last night. You know, this pre-season, he's starting to look a bit sharper. His fitness is looking there. His confidence is getting up there as well. And for me, I think this long move to Crystal Palace is the perfect thing for him. You know, it allows Mitchie to continue to stay in London. It allows Mitchie to play first team football for, you know, a team in London now that is trying to revamp, that's trying to do things a bit differently. They're going for a bit more technical class in their team. They are signing more technical players, and I think Mitchie leading the line for a team like this who are really crying out for someone that's going to put these efforts in the back of the net, who are really crying out for a goal scorer and someone to finish off the moves they create. I do feel like Mitchie could be a very good signing. Now, you know, we have to realize that with Mitchie, he kind of suffered a bit last season mentally. You know, he had some of his own personal battles and demons. I'm not going to go into too much depth and detail, but it does seem like maybe those things are starting to be, you know, a thing of the past right now. And this loan move to Crystal Palace is the perfect thing to really reinvigorate him and really get him back to the levels that he used to be on. Now, of course, before Mitchie can leave on loan, naturally he has to sign a new contract extension first, which I'm sure the player won't be complaining about at all. You know, you have to realize for someone like Mitchie, you know, he has an opportunity now to prolong his contract with us, which gives him maybe the possibility to one day hopefully get a better involvement in the team in the future, who knows. But on top of that, you guys, he gets to earn a very good competitive wage that, he'll still be earning regardless if he's with us or with different clubs in the future. So in a sense, I guess it's a little bit disappointing because we couldn't find any buyers to take him off our hands. But at the same time, it's not like Mitchell's been setting the bowl on fire where naturally you'd expect tons of bids to be coming in. So right now at Palace, he has an opportunity to, get back to his former levels. Sometimes I've always personally felt like maybe Mitchell made the move to us way too soon. Naturally as a goal scorer, I think he's a pretty good one. Left foot, right foot, scores goals with his heads, can score goals from outside the books, inside the books, all types of goals, but it's his overall game. The rest of his game that I feel hasn't been able to really go to that next level, and most times that's come down to the fact that he isn't playing consistent football week in, week out. So after a while, after a long ass time, naturally that's going to affect how you can grow and improve as a player. So Mitchell, Crystal Palace, it makes sense. Unfortunately, it might seem like maybe Conor Gallagher might not be getting a loan move to Crystal Palace. Let's hope that he has some great offers coming in for him as well, you guys. But that was the first story out of the way. We now move on to the second story, and I want to speak about Tomori and this loan move news to Everton. Now, immediately, straight off the bat, is this a good move? Personally, I think it makes sense. I think this is great. I think that Everton right now are a team that are definitely on the rise. They've signed Ancelotti, and due to his past history and being a very successful manager, he's someone that has the opportunities to be able to maybe sign a caliber of player for Everton that they're not normally used to signing. Right now in the market, I think they've been quite good. James Rodriguez has been signed. They've also signed players like Decore from Watford, and they signed Alan from Napoli too. So, they are building a pretty decent team that already has players like Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, Digne, Gomez, do I want to say Keane? No, I can't be saying Keane. Pickford, they're a decent team. And in that sense, I do feel like Tomori would be a great fit there. Now, it does seem like once Tomori does leave, Havertz will take over his previous shirt number, which is 29. Now, I'm not too sure about the significance behind the shirt number for Havertz, who knows, but of course, naturally, I guess it's going to be taken, and it's not like Tomori had any personal affiliation to that number anyway, so I'm sure that everything is good in that area, you guys. But I think the honest reality is that the moment we signed Thiago Silva, that effectively meant that, one defender was getting sacrificed. We couldn't really get any strong bids for your Rudigers or your Christensens or anyone really. So realistically, it made sense to just loan Tomori, and Tomori's loan move would always come down to the quality of the club showing an offer. Everton, I think, could be dark horses to get a European spot for next season. They definitely look like a team that's top 8 in my opinion. Let's see how this season does progress. But right now, I think Tomori could really benefit working under Ancelotti, who obviously, I'm sure the club really trusts him. I think that playing week in, week out would be the perfect thing he needs to really just iron out some of the flaws in his game. Now, when I say flaws, I'm not being rude, I'm not being condescending. The reality is, at 22 years old, playing for a top 4 club, your technical excellence has to be of a much higher level where you can't afford to make mistakes any single time. Now, for me, we've seen that Tomori has some incredible attributes. I mean, one-on-one defending, pace, passing ability out from the back too. He plays those forward passes. He's comfortable, pushing into midfield too. He's a great defender. But his overall game, I don't think is at that level just yet, where Lampard could afford to take risks on him week in and week out. Tomori, I feel maybe in the opening minutes of games and near the end of games in particular, his concentration levels can fall down a bit. Sometimes he makes uncharacteristic mistakes, or he's in the wrong position at the wrong time, makes the wrong pass, etc, etc. And I definitely feel like when he feels super confident, then you see what he's really about. But for Tomori to reach that place mentally, I feel like playing week in, week out, where if he does make mistakes, he's allowed to make them. He can get over them, he can get through them, and he can still, keep his place in the team. That's really going to benefit his development even more. But, to end the story, you guys, I think it does bring up a very valid argument that, is this maybe Lampard accepting that, yes, he made a mistake releasing David Luiz too early last season? I'm not saying that because I'm a massive fanboy. I mean, of course, you guys know that, Luiz is one of my favorite players. I'm not here to lie. But I do think that last season we needed that left-footed defender, someone that's a leader, that communicates, that can pass it from the back, and that was David Luiz. So it was unfortunate that him and Lampard, found their disagreement. From that point on, Lampard decided, you know what, I want to stick with using young defenders to mold them and shape them. But when you're working alongside them and you have the pressures of having to secure your achievements every single week, then naturally at times you realize, okay, I have to turn towards more experience. So Lampard was really hoping that Rudiger would have been that guy, but with all the injuries that he's been accumulating and not having a pre-season too, we never saw the best of Rudiger last season. That's my personal opinion. But in a sense, would Tomori have benefited if he was loaned out last season, knowing that for this season now, there could be a place ready for him to take over and do his thing? I think that would have been the best thing for everyone at the club. I think that Tomori would have been even hungrier coming back. He would have been even more confident knowing that, yes, he's secured his thing at a different club. He's done what he has to do. He's playing first team football. He knows he's a good player. We would have seen an even different player knowing that, okay, we can keep Luis for another season before we prepare for the future. It was a shame that things didn't work out in that sense, but with Thiago Silva being signed, that effectively is like doing everything again, repeating that same cycle. And I think that Tomori could be a very good success at Everton for next season. So let's see what happens there, you guys. Good luck to him. And now we end things with the final story today, and I'm going to be speaking about Brozovic from Inter Milan. Reports are coming out from Italy suggesting that us and Bayern Munich are the two clubs showing the most interest in potentially signing Brozovic. Now, for you guys that don't know who Brozovic is, he's 27, he's Croatian, typical classy, technical Croatian midfield player. He's a player that can fulfill so many roles in midfield. He can play in the midfield 2 and a midfield 3. He can play deeper as a defensive mid. He can play further forward. He brings a lot of versatility that I think someone like Lampard really appreciates and really likes. Brozovic is someone that is very good defensively, I feel. I think his passing, he switches the ball very quickly. He's a player that isn't afraid to take shots from outside the box. His shots per game record is quite good. And on top of that, he moves the ball very quickly. Personally, I see him as being better than Jorginho. But the question is now, why are we showing interest in Brozovic? What could this actually mean? Now, the reports coming out from Italy that broke the story are suggesting that Inter are hoping to sell Brozovic to raise the funds to make a big move for Kante, who, was rumored to cost around 50 million euros in this market. From what I'm hearing, that's not the case. Kante wants to stay, he doesn't want to leave. I mean, why would he want to leave now when we've signed players like Ziyech's, your Werners, your Kais? We're clearly a club on the rise going to the next level, so that wouldn't make any sense. Got me thinking too, though. Right now, we know that currently Inter and Emerson, they have reached an impasse. The deal is stalled at this point in time. And is there a possibility that we do business involving Emerson, player swap involving Brozovic? Who knows? That could also work, but the main thing that really just sticks out for me is, okay, if we did sign Brozovic, I guess this means no Declan Rice. The Rice deal fully depends on how willing West Ham are to do business with us. We know that right now people aren't happy, especially the players at that club. We all saw the tweets from Mark Noble in regards to them selling Diagna to West Brom. No one's happy, the direction isn't good enough. And could West Ham really afford to sell Declan Rice in a period like this? It could be a disaster for their boards. But I guess if they brought in the right amount of money, things would happen. That's the issue though, no? How much money is Declan Rice really going to cost? And, let's say you're just really pursuing him and pursuing him and pursuing him, right till the end of this window. There's a big possibility that you might not sign him right now. And if that's the case, can we afford not to have a DM for next season? Can we go into next season without an additional one? I'm not too sure, and I guess Brozovic in that sense could fill a good role, could fill a temporary role, and could be a decent acquisition to make. So you guys in the comment section below, how do you feel? Do you think that maybe it's time to just be patient and fully going for Declan Rice? Or do you think it's time to accept, you know what, West Ham, they're going to be long, they're going to play things out, and in the market right now, there are great DMs available, so let's go for them. Anyway, you guys, that is going to be me for today. I do want to say apologies for not keeping you guys in the loop. I've had some matters to attend to sort out, and you know what? I've known for a while that during this time I'd have to do it. I should have given you guys a heads up in advance though. I'll make sure I don't fumble that again, you guys. But I hope you enjoy. There is going to be more content coming out today. I'm NiniFC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later for some more videos.